Welcome to another episode of Tricksters podcast. We're going to run through things really quickly. It's your boy, Jano, my co-star, John, my brother. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, I bet you are.
I'm a little annoyed. All the players I was excited about getting drafted went to bad teams.
Well,
not necessarily bad teams. Teams where they won't, they will not do well.
Well, when you say players, you really just mean Jameson Williams.
Yeah, that's Exhibit A, B, and C that we're talking about here.
Yeah, just don't even lie to the people.
It's once
Did
Jameson
you see his face?
I didn't see when he got picked. I didn't see the video.
Looked pissed, and I was over here weak. Not at the fact that happened to him. It was just his reaction was so funny. He did not want. Who wants to? But I guess Aiden does. Aiden was excited, but I think he was more excited about being the second overall pick than going to Detroit. But Jameson knew immediately that is the worst situation for a receiver right now, especially with that amount of talent. I mean, he could have come in. I'm not saying he could do what Jamar Chase just did, but very close. Very close to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase with that amount of talent. But it's not going to happen with Jared Goff, buddy.
No, sir.
It is not. Oh, my God, I feel sorry for him. But we know he won't spend his career there. So just get paid, do your thing, try to work with it. But they'll be looking for a quarterback next draft. I guarantee you that.
Bro, with that damn signing bonus that first-round picks get, I go buy a gun. I'd pull that mug on my damn GM. Like, hey, buddy, how about you shot me?
Trade me.
Trade me now.
Yeah. Nah, man, so let's run through it. This is going to be hopefully within 15 to 20 minutes because I love what I saw. Doing the top 5 episodes, you know, all the different players' positions. The only one we didn't do is tight end because I didn't feel like it was worth it, but there might be a star tight end. There's one every draft that there's just a really good tight end that nobody knows who's going to be, except for Noah Fant. I think everybody predicted that. But with that said, man, I don't regret doing those. I obviously do them anyway. We just record it now. I've been doing it for years. But to see all the studying and actually ranking them for once, instead of just telling you who I like, ranking them and seeing them come off the board was very interesting. I told you I wouldn't be surprised if Tyler Lindenbaum was a first-day guy, a day-one guy. He is a massive talent. So speaking of Tyler Lindenbaum, I want to go through the trades really quick. The Ravens traded Marquis Brown to the Arizona Cardinals, which is crazy because they already have Rondale Moore. They've got, Nuke. I don't understand why they needed even more speed at receiver. I guess they're backing Kyler Murray, but Kyler really needs some linemen, and so with that trade, it's like, oh, okay. Not sure why you need more speed when people need to block for this little guy. But that was one trade. But the biggest trade, I won't name them all because it wasn't many, but the biggest trade to me today was A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles. That is insane to me. And we were texting, and I'm like, okay, the only reason they would trade him is because they want Treylon Burks. Moments later, they draft Treylon Burks. And so I'm like, okay, that's the only reason they would trade him, but it's still a terrible reason. They're the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
One has more experience. And so what that tells me is either A, A.J. Brown was unhealthy and they knew it, or B, which is more likely, A.J. Brown was unhappy and he didn't tell anybody.
The Titans got out of that damn contract is what they did.
Instead of extending them. But, yeah, I mean, do they have a cap space issue right now? I don't know if they do.
I don't think so.
So it's just, I don't know. I'm not a GM, but that was the most surprising, shocking trade I've seen. And I'll go with the most shocking pick of the day was at number 8, the Falcons drafting Drake London. Makes no sense to me at all. Yeah, they need receivers, not him. Not him. It is strange.
They lost Julio. And like, oh, we'll get a great value Julio. That'll show them.
That is not Julio.
It's a great value. Not even great value Julio. That's like a dollar store Julio.
Yeah, he's a little bit taller. But again, the tape that they rolled is exactly what I said on the episode. Jump balls. That's all they had in the tapes. If you're going to make a living off of jump balls in the NFL, you're not going to have many yards or receptions, buddy. You're not going to be that effective. Yeah, you're a big target, but you're also slow, right? You're not that fast, buddy. And I don't see on any of your film you creating separation down the field. Route running didn't impress me at all. So whatever. You got Kyle Pitts and then this big guy and no quarterback. Matt Ryan's going. I don't know what the Falcons are doing, but they're in their place for a reason. And every year we go through the draft, bro, I'm like, you know what? There's a reason these top 10 teams are here because they keep doing the same things. So before I kind of run down my favorite 4 or 5 teams throughout the first night, is there anything you wanted to add, bro?
Not really. I was about to say, I think Marcus Mariota is supposed to be their guy in Atlanta, which is something.
He's been a backup for like 3 years. Okay. So with that said, we won't talk Atlanta. I guess we can do a top 3 worst teams and like a top 4 best teams today. If I gotta choose 4, I'm gonna definitely say Ravens. I'm gonna definitely say Jets. Those are my top 2. The Jags impressed me for sure. I was very disappointed in Seattle, and I'll tell you why. I love their pick, but I'll tell you why I'm disappointed. And then I'll say the Saints is in my top 4 for sure. You know, the Texans went with some pretty good picks, but I don't know what that looks like. But when it comes to those 4 teams, I'll go with the Saints first. Getting Chris Olave, like, they just got a franchise receiver. Chris isn't going anywhere. You got, you know, I know he's been injury prone, but when it comes to Kamara, and then you got, I know you hate him, but Michael Thomas coming back does mean something for the Saints. He's not my favorite guy. I respect him as a NFL receiver, but he is nowhere near the best receiver in the league just because he put up a lot of yards and Drew Brees was, you know, last year or whatever. But Michael Thomas been on the other side, and Chris Olave is naturally a Z. This is going to be very nice to watch. And then they lock it in with, I told you when they traded Teron Armstead to the Dolphins, or really it was a free agency, right? They just kind of released him or whatever. I told you they were going to replace him. And they got Trevor Penny, the most mauling guy in the draft at left tackle. That's going to help on the run, the goal line, and as well as the pass. I love what the Saints are setting up. And this is what it's about. It's about dominoes. It's about chess pieces that you know you're not going to win a Super Bowl this year, Saints. But you're putting the pieces in place and you're patient. I love seeing stuff like that. And then later on, 3 years later, everybody's like, oh, the Saints are Super Bowl favorites. It starts here, man. It starts here. So the Ravens trading Marquis Brown was not my favorite move per se, but getting Kyle Hamilton and getting Tyler Lindenbaum, just fantastic. Fantastic. Why? Because your quarterback, arguably a top 5 quarterback in the league, got hurt last year because y'all couldn't block. You get the best center in the draft and probably going to be the top 2 center in the league in a year or 2 because that's how good this kid is. And then you get Kyle Hamilton, which is, in my opinion, the best safety in the draft by far. We bragged on him the last episode, 6'4", 220. You got Marlon Humphrey over there. The defense is getting longer. Marcus Peters is coming back. This is going to be nice. And what's scary, I don't know what it looks like in the second round for the Ravens, but if they can sneak in a guy, they're 45th, so not far, and they've only got that 1 pick. If they can sneak in a guy like Drake London, I was hoping George Karlaftis would make it day 2. Very happy that the Chiefs I hate the Chiefs, but I'm very happy that they noticed the talent that we noticed. A pick for them, A+ in my opinion. But Drake London still left. You got a couple other guys that are left at the edge, man, that can really do some damage. So very happy with that. And then I had the Jets, obviously getting Sauce Walker. You already get an A+ grade for the rest of the draft. Ahmad Gardner, man, I said Sauce Walker, the freaking rapper. Sauce Gardner, my apologies. But getting Ahmad Gardner, man, This is going to be interesting. The Jets defense was already solid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Already solid. You got your big boy from Bama in the middle. You got C.J. Mosley from Bama in the middle and linebacker. You get another edge in Jermaine Johnson. You get the best corner in the draft by far, to me, by far. Some people say Stingley, but they keep even – we talked about this on the episode, John. We talked about this. And the first thing that they said when he got drafted is his 2019 year, his 2019. Why are we drafting a guy based on what he did 3 years ago?
I couldn't tell you, bro, but they better pray. The Jets better pray. Not the Jets, the Texans. The Texans better pray that they don't play the Eagles because Devontae Smith will grip his hips.
Correct. So they beef up the defense. They turn around at the 10th pick and get Garrett Wilson. How is it possible? I know they had 3 first-round picks to get Ahmad Gardner, Garrett Wilson, and Jermaine Johnson in one day. This is day one, John.
It makes me upset because back when I was a Raiders fan, that's why I stopped being a Raiders fan, because I watched them just fuck up draft after draft. It pains me to see teams have a surplus of first-round picks and just absolutely kill it, because the Raiders never did that.
Nope.
Where they had the 4th pick and they got Cleveland Farrell that year. Bro, I threw up.
I will never forget that.
Bro, it was the first draft that Hannah and I were living together. And all day I was excited. The Raiders got these first-round picks. It's about to be lit. We're about to build for the future, get some household names. Bro, I hit the roof. Hannah was like, "Are you okay?" So I'm actually about to kill myself.
I have consistently gone back to that draft and going in just the first round alone. You can go second and third. And I've counted like 5 or 6 players that are just so far better than him that got picked after him. This happens every year. But to do what the Raiders did to collect picks, because they took a lot to collect those picks.
Well, they traded Amari and Khalil Mack.
That I wouldn't draft him on day 2.
They drafted Devin White. The Bucs did the pick after, just to tell you the caliber of player that was in that draft. Bro, Cleveland Farrell would have been there because they had like 2 late first. I promise he would have been there.
He would have been there day 2, John. Nobody was getting him.
Bro, I think they drafted in that draft. They drafted Farrell, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Abrams. So the last 2 picks
2 out of 3
weren't bad, but you got a top 4.
Trade that for Devin White, Jonathan Abrams, and Josh Jacobs. Completely different trajectory. So to nail it on the last team, the Jags. By the way, the Jets have the 6th pick tomorrow, which is going to be Friday. You guys will be viewing this by then. So on day 2, they have the 6th pick. But the Jags, man, they beat up the defense. Obviously, with the pass rush, they went and got – I don't think he should have been the first pick overall at all. And I think they're not going to use him on the line. I mentioned in the past that he can have his hands in the dirt, but I think he's going to be used. He's going to shed 10, 20 pounds and be outside linebacker. I said that on the podcast. I think that's what they're going to do because they don't currently have a good position to fill there. And then they also went and got Devin Lloyd, which blew my freaking brains because I didn't think they would go edge and then middle linebacker. But Devin Lloyd, I kid you not, even though he's going to be in Jacksonville, I told you wherever he goes, he's going to shine. And that's going to be the truth. And he happens to be in a division that's very diverse. A lot of teams in that division run the ball, like the Titans and Colts. The Texans like to throw the ball a little bit more. The Colts like to air it out. Now they got Matt Ryan, but Devin's going to be everywhere.
Yeah, the Colts and the Titans run the ball, and then the Texans, the Titans and Colts run the ball, and the Texans don't know what the fuck to do with it.
But they throw it a lot for some reason, and then the Colts I think they're going to switch. Yes, they still have the second best running back in football, but Matt Ryan does throw the ball a lot.
If you
So,
want to win games better, you better
right,
check that shit right now. We're gonna
right.
throw this mode 15 times a game. That way you can't lose this shit for us.
Man, it is what it is. I don't want to get into that. I just know Devin Lloyd, I got him early as a defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year, rather.
But
Because
they're solid. For Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen,
Devin Lloyd.
Lloyd. Their secondary sucks shit probably,
Mm-hmm.
but
I mean, they
I think
got Shaquille,
C.J. Henderson. I think they still got.
CJ Henderson, which he had a better year last year, and then they got Shaquille.
Did they
Was it?
trade? Did they trade C.J. Henderson to the
Yes, they
Panthers?
did. Yes, they did. But who did they get from the Seahawks? The twin, Shaquille Griffin.
Gil Griffin, yeah.
Shaquille Griffin. So solid defense, and I think they are doing what I bragged on the Saints for doing, which is just putting the dominoes in place. They are. I think if Trevor Lawrence can play a little bit better, they can get that offense together, which they ended up. And hey, they got Christian Kirk. You know, they still got a good run game.
Bro,
They get
Trevor
that
Lawrence never
together.
fooled me. He never had me fooled. You can't
Not
take the
at
trip.
all. Not at all. But I mean, look at Kyle Pickett to Pittsburgh. Like Kyle Pickett's not the greatest looking quarterback coming out of the draft. I had him at number 4 out of my top 5,
Kenny,
and it's already
Kenny
week 2.
Pickett.
Say it again.
Kenny Pickett.
What did I say?
Kyle.
Oh, Kenny Pickett. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had Kenny Pickett at number 4, coming out of Pittsburgh, going to Pittsburgh apparently. But I think that's a great pick for them because he's just an average guy. Like he's never going to be MVP, but he can get the job done in Pittsburgh. He's got enough surrounding him. That's how I feel about Trevor, where he's not going to be a superstar, but you put enough around him, he's going to look good. So with that said, we're not going to go over. Y'all can obviously look up picks. We're just going to talk about the ones that impress us the most. But if I could pick a team to be proud of today the most, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say the Jets because that was a heck of a first round. But when you have 3 picks in the first round, like the Raiders, you can screw it up or you can do really, really good because these guys, they better make sure in 3-4 years they got some cap space because you're gonna want to re-sign every one of them. Garrett Wilson, Ahmad Gardner, and Jermaine Johnson blows my freaking mind.
Be careful, bro. Like I was telling you earlier, the Dolphins, they got the first round pick of the Niners, and Deebo Samuel wants out. He's their whole offense. The Dolphins, they can fuck around and have a top 5 pick next year.
Yeah, that would be nice. But with that said,
I'll tell you right now, bro. Next draft, if the Dolphins fuck around and get Will Anderson, and we do this video like we're doing now, I'll be standing up, and there'll be something dangly right there in the screen. Actually, it won't be dangly. It'll be stiff. As a matter of fact, won't be much dangling to it.
okay. Well, I won't add to that, gratefully. And with that said, man, just a couple of guys that I want to single out. Again, shout out Kyle Hamilton, Jahan Dotson to the Commanders. Wow. That was one of my favorites. That made me stand up because Carson Wentz sucks. He's going to be looking for a job next year. But you got this guy on a rookie contract next to Scary Terry. 2 guys that play very similar, can jump and get it. They're very aggressive, and they can run the crap out of routes. I am afraid of this team in the future.
Carson Wentz is going to be looking for a job. Remind me again, what school did he go to?
North Dakota State, bro.
Funny how that happens.
We don't have to talk about that, bro. But hey, Jahan and Terry, get your fantasy team ready to go. These boys, along with Antonio Gibson, whoa. And they got that young tight end. I'm gonna love watching them because Wentz is good enough to put on a show during the regular season. Just don't leave him in a tight situation. He's gonna fumble it, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, if you give him an opportunity to sell you,
he will. So most disappointing teams, the Eagles were gonna be the most, but they got that trade with AJ Brown. But if they did not, getting Jordan Davis was a mistake. I know they're replacing Fletcher Cox, but do you understand how many holes they have in that defense?
No, just because I don't watch the Eagles.
Because they're that bad. They don't have linebackers. They don't have DBs. They haven't had a DB in like 5 years, 6 years.
Bro, I can't name the last elite DB they had other than Brian Dawkins.
Darius Slade, but they got him later on.
Mm-mm.
You know, he wasn't in his prime anymore.
No,
So
Darius Slade don't count.
but shout out to the Giants. Shout out to Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau going to Kayvon was a top 5 pick. I told you he would be. But I think that's going to look nice along with James Bradbury over there. A couple of other guys on that defense. It's going to look nice. But I don't have too much else to say. I don't care about the Lions enough to talk about them. And, you know, the Chargers get another beefy offensive lineman, Zion Johnson, who was in your top 5. Shout out you. And they are stacked at this point. They got their guy. You know, they got their offense. Watch out for the Chargers. So, and I believe that's a good reason that Kansas City went and got George Karlaftis after they got a guy who I compared to the Honey Badger. Isn't that a coincidence? Where's my crystal ball, man? Where's my crystal ball? I said Trent McDuffie reminds me. Did I not? It reminds me of the Honey Badger. And they recently moved from him. I think they did, right?
There were some rumors that they were gonna, but I don't think there's been anything decided yet.
He's getting paid a lot of money. Still good at his job, but I know he's coming in as a corner. But it's like I said on the episode, if they move Trent McDuffie, freaking free safety, bro, you're gonna see why I like him. Trust me, he is rangy, man.
I'm telling you, bro, I did not see anything from him that I thought was impressive.
I just like his tackling and his aggressiveness, right? He's 5'11", he's fast, but he gets after it. That's all I need. And he can get coached up by those guys. But then I'm getting George Karlaftis to counter what the Chargers are doing. It's pretty nice. Ended the round with Lewis Seen out of Georgia going to the Vikings. That's going to be a great addition, man. But the Packers also surprised everyone except me with getting at 22, they got Quay Walker out of Georgia. And I told you, he was pretty much my favorite guy at Georgia, period. Not the best, but I had him in my top 5. And a lot of those guys on ESPN, NFL Network, they didn't have in their mock draft. CBS, all those guys, they didn't have him in their top 5 or in their mock draft. But I think Quay Walker is going to show a lot of people at 6'4", 241 pounds with the speed he has, what he's going to do in Green Bay. So I'm happy about that. We already talked about Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh, but I've got nothing else, man. I've been talking a lot. I'm just very excited. My blood is rushing. I love drafts. I love to see teams progress. It's all about building towards something. But if you got anything to add other than rest in peace, Jameson Williams, then go ahead, man.
I really don't have anything to add other than that. The Dolphins did their draft night a few weeks ago. I will take Tyreek Hill. I don't need a first-round pick. That's fine.
They don't even have a second-round pick.
I don't give a fuck. I don't. Because all Tua has to do is just pitch the ball from me to my phone, just a jet sweep, and it can go for 95 yards, and it's fine.
Well, luckily, the Colts have a second and third round pick. I thought it was 2/3, but I guess I was wrong. Maybe it's 2/4. But I will be paying attention to that. I won't be glued to the TV on day 2. I will watch a little bit of the first round because usually in the second round, you get the first 10, 15 picks. They're really, really good picks. No running backs in the first round, which I'm very happy about. And I'm going to say it again. There's Breece Hall. There's Kenneth Walker. You know, Kenneth Walker's going to be that guy. But Isaiah Spiller, I pray he ends up in the right situation. He's going to make a difference. But anyway, I don't have anything. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking like teams he could go to like show out.
The Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have a running back right now, do they?
Exactly. because my boy from Ohio State, who I love, he is not a bust. He just deals with injuries. Very talented, really good running back, but you get Isaiah to back him up and run the offense the way that Harbaugh wants to. That's a dangerous combination, because Isaiah's not a run it 20 times a game guy. He's more of I've compared him to a couple of guys, but I mean, you could say, I don't want to say Darren Sproles because he doesn't have the speed of Darren Sproles, but he could be a flex running back where he can just catch a lot. He can block really well.
He's like Kamara.
Say it again.
He's like Kamara.
He's like Kamara. Perfect. Thank you. Where he's not that fast, but he's dynamic in what he does. He's really, really good at what he does. So him landing there, him going to, I don't want to say that. Him going to like Kansas City, maybe the Bears, even the Bills. He would shine in Buffalo. But he can fit in a couple of places. We're going to leave it at that. Day 2, honestly, day 2 through 3, meaning all the next rounds, we'll probably do in one episode to kind of cover everything. But I wanted to be quick tonight, so shout out to the first round, man. I love doing this. This has been awesome. It's been fun for me. And we'll see what the Colts do tomorrow, man. Very excited to see. Still a lot of great players left. Yeah,
good luck with that, bro. I'm going to Florida tomorrow, so I gotta rest up.
Gotcha. By the way, Seattle, I'm disappointed in you. Not because you got Charles Cross. He's one of my favorite linemen. I bragged on him tremendously. You wasted 9-10 years of Russell Wilson's life. This is the first time y'all drafted a lineman in the first round in 10 years.
We'll show
and
you.
You waited on him to leave?
That's petty.
Do you know how awful that is? He is considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And no time that he was there during his tenure did they draft a lineman in the first round. And the year he leaves, you do it. That is crazy. Oh, well, okay. I'm done. It's been another episode of Tricksters Podcast. We'll be coming at you guys later. Thank y'all for tuning in. Peace.